All right. Welcome back to Spooky Sauce Gaming. It has been a really long time, but it is the 4th of July. So it's just me. My wife's not here. She is working tonight. She is in the healthcare industry, and it stops for no one, and that's probably a good thing. All right. So, oh man, we're going back. We're going back to, I guess, been 1997. When this boy was released. It was the first time I ever played it was in 1997, although I didn't own it for another, I don't know, I guess, oh gosh, I didn't get it till early 2000, no wait, I didn't get till early 1998, because that's when I got my PlayStation 1. So, I'm in college, and I get my PlayStation 1, and I got it for Resident Evil 2. Oh, I have a continue game on this? No, I don't. I don't have any games in here. Yeah, I didn't think so. New game. So we are running Duck Station, doing the emulator on this one, so because it just operates better with OBS. But I have this disc. I have purchased this game like 3 times over the years. I have it on the Switch. I have it on PlayStation 1. I still have my original discs that I bought back in 1998. Whew, man. Anyway, going back, I bought my PlayStation 1, and there was a guy on my floor who had a demo CD that had a bunch of stuff on it, including the demo for Final Fantasy VII. So I borrowed it, and I played through that demo like over and over again. And it's like the first Mako Reactor mission, but you had more stuff. You had like summons. And that completely blew me away. Seeing Ifrit and Ifrit and Shiva especially, it was bonkers. I don't remember if this animation, this whole opening sequence that we're seeing now, was on that demo disc. But I gotta say, man, in frickin' 1997, this looked insane. This is the game that made the PlayStation 1 the success that it was. Final Fantasy VII made the PlayStation 1. I was there. I saw the whole thing happen. Without it, it would have been, I don't know, it would have been another console like the Saturn or something. But this game just was bonkers. Now, I had played Final Fantasy IV on the Super Nintendo, which was Final Fantasy II. And I kind of got sucked into that. Because my roommate in college, he had a Super Nintendo. So we had Final Fantasy II and Mystic Quest. So I played through Final Fantasy II, like, throughout the course, like that first semester. And then I did, got my PlayStation 1. Probably when I got my tax return. It was awesome. Yeah. Okay. Come on. So I would have gotten this in the summer of 1998, late spring, early summer 98. Yeah, cloud's fine. When I got Resident Evil 2, which is why I bought a PlayStation in the first place, I played through that over and over again. did all the hidden stuff, just tried to do as much as I could. But, you know, by the end of the school year, I was just kind of over it. Barry. That's fine. And I just needed something else. So this came along at the right time. I was already a huge fan of music from Squaresoft in general, just as a company. They just did music better. And it wasn't just Nobuo Uematsu. They had just, their whole team was really, really good. I had played Chrono Trigger the year before, and that's like its own huge story. So I fell in love with the music in Chrono Trigger. Chrono Trigger's music went freaking hard, man. It was so good. It's like bonkers how good it is. So I was already kind of familiar with what Square could do. So I was really looking forward to Final Fantasy VII. I love the music in 4 and Chrono Trigger. Chrono Trigger. So I didn't have a Super Nintendo, but I had a friend in high school who had a Super Nintendo, and Christmas break, man, we had a really bad winter that year. So we had several days of like snow days in school, and he lived up the street from me, about 2 blocks up. And what we did was over Christmas break and like a few days after, when we actually had days out of school, we would play Chrono Trigger. We would rent it from this place in town, and we rented the game from this place in town, and they had this gumball machine there that if you got a winning gumball, you got a free rental. Well, at what point we got a free gumball, and the idea was that, you know, hey, I got a free rental, and you show them the gumball, and then they say, okay, great, you get a free rental, now eat the gumball, you know. So we were we kind of cheated a bit, and what we did was we would pretend to put the gumball in our mouth and chew it, you know. And then when we have to bring the game back, we would put a quarter in, buy another gumball, and be like, hey, we won, and show them the gumball from the previous win, and just repeat the whole process over. The problem was we didn't want anybody else to rent the game and like save over our save on the game. So we rented it like 3 or 4 times using the same gumball over and over again. Uh-oh, I didn't mean to do that. Come on, Cloud, let's go back down. But that way, we did end up beating the game eventually after like, I don't know, like 30 hours of gameplay. But what we would do is, I'd go up to his house, we'd play for like a few hours on an afternoon, right? And then maybe the next day he would like pack up his Super Nintendo and come down to my house, hook it up to my TV, and then we'd like just sit in my basement and play Chrono Trigger and just kind of like work through it. There were no guides, we didn't have internet, there were no manuals, so we were just kind of guessing what we had to do. And every now and then we'd be like, well, maybe we should go fight Lavos, maybe it's time to fight Lavos. And we'd fight Lavos and just get completely killed. You know, we'd be fighting Lavos like halfway through the game thinking that it was time to do that when it really wasn't. So that was kind of funny. But eventually, we did play through it, and then we finished it. But that's what... But we were so into Chrono Trigger, and I didn't know anything about these JRPGs at the time. I hadn't played any. But I was just completely mesmerized by Chrono Trigger. The design of the game, the characters, the music. Oh, music was so good. So, I was all in So after that, so after winter, there was another guy we knew in school who let us borrow Secret of Mana, because he had that game. So we didn't have to like rent that one over and over again. So that was nice. Rent. We didn't have to keep up the renting charade to play Secret of Mana. That was just a borrowed one, so we were good on that. That was another one that just had such good music. You know, and with those two games, like playing them back to back, we were just convinced that Squaresoft was like the greatest game company that there ever was. Because, like, you know, the first few games that I played from them happened to be like some of the greatest games ever made, period. So when Final Fantasy... Anyway, all of this is a prelude to this idea that when Final Fantasy VII came out, I mean, it even like... I think it blows those other ones. I mean, they don't really blow them out of the water, but it doesn't disappoint. It wasn't worse than Chrono Trigger or Legend of Mana. In some ways, it was better. You know, as far as Final Fantasy goes, up to that point, I mean, arguably, it's the best Final Fantasy game up to that point at all. Arguably, I think it's the best Final Fantasy game ever made. I mean, not by much. There's a lot of, you know, trade-offs there, but you hear people gushing over 7, and you get tired of it, and you're like, well, it's not the greatest game. Mostly that's just because you're just tired of everyone saying that it's the greatest game. It's like hearing Citizen Kane's the greatest movie ever made, right? Or Apocalypse Now, or whatever. You know, it's like the Kubrick fans, right? It's like you don't have a problem with the movie as much as you have a problem with the fans. You have to separate the two. And just, this game just hits so hard. It's so good. Like, all of the characters are just distinct and lovable from the get-go. Maybe that's my biggest criticism of some of the later Final Fantasy games, that all the characters just start looking the same. You know? That was I noticed it first when I got 8 when it came out, day of. I had 8 on day 1. Because I skipped class to get it. And I remember putting that in, and I noticed it was harder to keep the characters straight. Like, you know, who's who and what do they want and all that stuff, right? It's a really complex story, you know, I give you that, for sure. So, that's something. I didn't mean to do that, balls. If I was paying attention and not just yakking. Is that ice? Oh, I didn't want to do ice. I meant to do bolt, but I'm a dork. Alright. Bolt. Hey, I got a limit break. Bareva. Yeah, the limit breaks are cool. I feel like Japan, whether in video games or in anime or whatever, they're very quick to adapt something for the fans. So if you have a lot of fans who are saying, hey, we want more of this, they're like, okay. And they'll just give it to you. On the other hand, in the case of like Final Fantasy VII, I feel like, sorry, in Final Fantasy VIII, I felt like they went too much on the magic system and just the way that that was handled. I just felt like it was a little too complicated. like unnecessary complication. What do I get for this? 100. Okay, cool. Yeah, Barrett, you could have one too. We're just killing time while his tail's in the air. I mean, I love 8, but I never finished 8. Maybe I should do that. We could do that for a spooky sauce, right? Do some spooky sauce night play. You could do Final Fantasy 8. Just play through that sucker. I have it. I bought it all on the Switch. That's the funny thing. I bought 7, 8, and 9 all on the Switch. So they've all been purchased again. This is kind of silly. They keep getting my money over and over again, and then they're like, you know, getting puffy about, you know, oh, someone might be pirating it. I'm like, well, you got my money 3 times over, man. I have, you know, I have absolutely no qualms emulating a game that I paid for 3 times. Ooh. Okay. Don't even get me started on Chrono Cross. Man, this was... Okay, this was like such a golden era. Is there something better than a golden era? Is there like a platinum era? Or like a titanium era of something? Something that, an era that is better than gold. Because that's what Square was in the late 90s, early 2000s. Untouchably good. Just mind-bogglingly bonkers good. And when you think about it, they had a lot of games that they never really continued with. Like they did some experimentation. You guys remember Parasite Eve? Eh? I should play that. That was a Square game. I remember people like comparing it and saying that, oh yeah, it's Resident Evil, but by Square. I don't think that's quite the right way to describe it, but I rented that when I played it, but I don't remember much about it. I need to pick that up. I gotta find that. See if that's available anywhere to buy first. I'll check. I'll see if I can buy it first. But you had Parasite Eve. You had, remember, Brave Fencer Musashi? I have that. I have that disc. You had Saga Frontier. Remember that? Yeah. You had the fighting game, Air Guys. Is that what it was called? It was something like that. But Square had like all these games that came out within like this 5-year-ish period. And they were all just like really, really good. Oh yeah, and Legend of Mana came out around that time. That's also pretty good. I've got that disc. I bought that when it was new. I don't think I ever finished Legend of Mana. You gotta have that world building thing happening with the blocks and the areas. It's kind of mission based. I should pick that up too. I mean, I've got it. I should pick it back up and actually finish the thing. That would be good. In the Final Fantasy series, you would have gotten, during this time period, Final Fantasy 7, 8, 9. 9 was really good. I enjoyed 9 more than I enjoyed 8. And then, of course, 10. 10, I have a love-hate relationship with. It's not that I don't hate it. I do like it. You know, it's got all this stuff good, but I think it had one of those things where it's funny because you have all these people who gush on it the way that I gush on 7. I'm like, yeah, no, I get 10's great. It's on the PlayStation 2. It was an earlier PlayStation 2 title. So everyone was just blown away by it. Because you had all the recorded dialogue for it. And that was, I think, the first Final Fantasy game where you did that. That was almost a little jarring at the time. I mean, if you've spent years playing these Final Fantasy games and suddenly everybody's talking. Come on. There we go. I don't know. I think there's something nice about when you don't hear their voices. You kind of imagine what these characters sound like in your head, so it becomes very personal. And maybe that's where you get a lot of the attachment to the characters from. No, I think there's something to be said about that. Come on, guys, we gotta go. It's a countdown. Also, all the Final Fantasy games are different. I liked this. It's almost like a sci-fi kind of thing that's happening here. It's a little bit of a departure. The eco message, I felt at the time, might have been a little heavy-handed. At least, you know, on the surface anyway, you have like this eco message. But I feel like it gets overshadowed by the other themes that happen in the game, so I don't mind it so much. It's all about the planet, because Barrett won't shut up about that when he's talking about Avalanche and saving the planet and all that. But you know what? I got more into the whole story with Jenova and Sephiroth and Cloud's relationship with like Tifa. I don't know. That's what hooked me. And just the production design on this is so good. I just want to say, man, this is the one that stands the test of time. No one is... You say it's Final Fantasy, no one's like doing Squall from Final Fantasy 8 or What's His Nuts from 10. Crap, what was that guy's name? I don't even remember. Yuna's more popular than he is. It's like, if you say Final Fantasy, the top characters are always, it's Cloud, it's Tifa, it's Aeris, and then Yuna, and maybe Lulu from 8 because she had the, Wait, is Lulu in 8? Yeah, Lulu's in 8. Or is she in 10? I don't remember. Goth girl with the dolls that do stuff. And then it's her. And then, of course, like Sephiroth. That's it. I mean, how many Final Fantasy characters are there? You might have, oh, what's the girl's name? Rydell from Final Fantasy 4? Or the one girl from 6, maybe. But I mean, that pales in comparison to the 7 characters. And maybe that's where maybe that's where this game really shines, is just how clearly defined its characters are. How easy they are to identify with and to follow, you know, and just how well people can, like, just how well people jive with them. There's, if the whole point of this is storytelling, then yeah, that's freaking important. You know, identify, you know, your characters, have them, have your characters, make them likable, make them easy to follow, and yeah, you're good. You got yourself a hit. But I mean, the popularity of this game was crazy. Like, if you, okay, first of all, I want to point out that video games were not as mainstream in 1997, 98 than they are now. And people, like, lots of people played video games, but I want to say, man, it was a lot more passive then than it is now. Now people are like hardcore into it. It's part of their identity, right? I feel like then it was, you know, it's something you did, but you did other stuff too. Like, or you played basketball, or you were in a band, or, you know, whatever. It wasn't like, I'm a gamer. That wasn't really a thing. And if it was your thing, and I actually, you know what, I knew a couple people like that. If gaming was your thing and you didn't do anything else, that was a lich, man. You were like serious, like, nerd sauce. And like, not nerd sauce in a good way. It was nerd sauce in, you don't have any friends, you're going to be made fun of, and, you know, you're at the bottom of the social food chain, because that was a thing then. I'm just saying, nerddom then, there were consequences for it, right? It was not mainstream. Now, all of that said, this game, Final Fantasy VII, and the PlayStation, and then the consoles that came after, planted the seeds to make all of this stuff mainstream. I mean, if you say now, it's like, hey, I love Final Fantasy VII. That's one of my favorite games. People are like, of course it is. Why? I mean, yeah. Or they might say, yeah, that's great. I mean, I'm more of a 10 fan, or a, you know, a 14 or something, you know. But they're not going to go, the video games, you're one of those guys. Did you ever go outside? Let's go talk to some girls already. No, it wasn't like that. Or that's how, you know, you'd be treated. I don't know. I felt like this hardcore nerddom was like kind of an underground thing, but it was so hard not to get sucked into the world of this game. It was like Japanese sorcery. I would argue that maybe even like this game was one of those gateways that got people into anime, or even just exploring Japanese culture in general. Yeah. You know, come to think of it, I went to Japan in 2005, and I'm trying to remember if I saw any Final Fantasy stuff there. Gosh, which Final Fantasy was out then? It may have been like 12, maybe? It would have been PlayStation 2 days. PS3 wasn't out yet. If I saw anything, it was probably 12. But I felt like those golden days, platinum days, those days were kind of fading by 2005. Honestly, I felt like they were fading by the time Final Fantasy X came out. And what was that, like 01? Yeah, 01. I got it in 02, so it was out in 01. You know, this just that PlayStation era of Square was just insane. Squaresoft, when it was still called Squaresoft. It was just so good. Exposition. I remember I was working at a theme park in summer '98. I was doing licensed sound for their live entertainment. And I remember like coming home, like, you know, after working all day at the park, and oh man, just grabbing a drink and sitting down in my room and playing a little bit of this game. Let's go a little further. Just working my way through it. I didn't have internet at home. This was before the days of broadband. So if you had internet, you were using AOL or something like that for dial-up, and it was so slow. So I think I ended up buying the strategy guide for this fairly early on because I couldn't just go to the internet to find what I was looking for. Because I was looking for all the materia, you know, or the process to breed the chocobos. That's so cool. I love that the PlayStation was able to do these cutscenes. It just added so much to it. It just added to the world, the production design of it. It really sold the world that you were in, and all the characters just anchored you to it. It's just, they just nailed it. They nailed everything they were supposed to do. You know, the fighting system and the materia system really isn't that complicated compared to later games, but they just did everything else flawlessly. Wee. I'm gonna save though. Ah. Yes. Let's go. All right. Outer Heaven. Little baby. It's talking about Tifa? Oh my gosh. All right. See, this is what I'm talking about, man. This music is just getting me right in the feels. Ooh. Ooh. I remember the first time around, man, I was crushing on Eris a bit, but man, now it's like, it's Tifa. I'm Team Tifa all the way. Tifa's amazing. Tifa is one of the greatest, like, I think she's one of the greatest, like, female characters in games. I love her. She's great. She's so awesome. Tifa rules. Uh-oh. I think I ruined Christmas. Hang on. There we go. There we go. You got Barrett. Who's totally doing this, you know, tough dad thing. I mean, that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like these character designs. I mean, yeah, I guess you could argue they're over the top. They're not grounded or whatever, but I'd like to remind you all, you're playing a game called Final Fantasy. Why are you hell-bent on realism and groundedness? Oh, this is just so good. Make me a drink, baby. The funny thing is, every time I play this game now, I don't know, I just want to do everything I can to make Tifa happy. There's that whole thing where you're at the gold saucer and you go on a date, and depending on who you're the nicest to, that date could be with Yuffie, it could be with Eris, or it could be with Tifa. And man, that whole sequence, if you're with Tifa, it just gets me. So awesome. Oh, Cloud. You big doofus. Yeah, all right. I like the idea that the pinball machine's a secret passage. That's pretty cool. Exposition. I like their battle plans they've got on the whiteboard there, the wall. I love just all the little stuff that's around. Like, is that a printer on the wall there below the whiteboard? It looks like something had been printed off and hadn't been torn off yet. I just like this idea of like all this technology that's kind of also in rubble, and there's like hoses and cables running everywhere. It's like hyper industrial. Like it was cobbled together from other like industrial machines. Shows you how old it is though, because the computer has a tube monitor. It's not even a flat screen. Oh man, this music is so good. There's something just so melancholy about Tifa's theme. It's so good. And everybody's all about, you know, Cloud and Eris getting together. And I'm like, oh! I mean, he is kind of a meathead. Well, to be fair, he is a bit scrambled right now. You know, on account of being experimented on by Hojo. It's funny, like, getting everybody's takes on, like, what happens in this game, because the storyline is really cloudy. And it doesn't really become clear until like the end of the game of what actually happened with Cloud and with Sephiroth, because everyone's convinced it happened one way, and then it's like, well, actually it's this other thing. And you have Genova in there. See, I found that stuff more interesting. All the stuff with Genova. Genova is scary. I gotta say, man, that's like, it's almost like Lovecrafty. It's definitely cosmic. You know what, though? It's kind of in line with Lavos. Similar storyline, you know? This extraterrestrial being crash lands on Earth and wanting to use the energy of the planet and suck it all up and get more power. Yeah, same thing Lavos did in Chrono Trigger. You know, it's kind of like what Genova's doing, or you know what, or rather what Sephiroth does, since he's kind of a Genova clone. Yeah, yeah. This music is so good. You know what's even crazier is that Nobuo Uematsu, he's not even trained. He's a self-taught composer. I think that's why his stuff sounds so original, you know? I think, oh man. Are we ever gonna have another composer like that again? There aren't that many like video game composers that are like famous, that are like really famous for doing video games. There was the one guy who did it for Halo. He has like I'm trying to remember what his name is. Something McSomething. I mean, that was pretty good. The only other person that I can think of is Jeremy Soule. And that dude disappeared. He kind of got I don't know. Did he get, what happened? Did he get Me Too'd? You know, whatever. I think from what I understood, there's like some allegations, but there was never any, no one was ever charged with anything. I'm like, okay. I just want to, it's like, all right, either somebody's guilty of something or they're not. You wouldn't understand. I'm not going through a tutorial. Let's go. Anyway, that's somebody else. Because for Jeremy Soule, man, what he did for the Elder Scrolls, Morrowind, and Oblivion, especially, that music is so good. I feel like I'm on that team where it's like the fan of the earlier stuff. There's nothing wrong with Skyrim, but Oblivion's a better game, in my opinion, and the music is definitely better than Skyrim. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of people who would disagree with me on that. They're like, well, look how many times they've been milking Skyrim a lot. And you can always argue, you know, which one's been remastered and remade more often, been resold. I'm like, yeah, it's Skyrim for sure. But also, I'd like to point out that until Skyrim, we didn't really have this thing called the Jock Gamer. That's when it really came out. All right. Well, have you guys been hanging around? Cool. Maybe we can pick this up later. I gotta go. It is the 4th of July, and my wife is getting off work, and we're going to go walk around and look at fireworks. So I hope everyone has a wonderful, happy, and safe Independence Day. And yeah, this is I'm an American, and I love living here. So I hope everyone else can at least appreciate what they have and be thankful for it. And on that, I will see everyone later. Have a good night.